UFC 322, Makachev versus JDM is this weekend, boys, and it is one of the best pay-per-views of the year. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys all my favorite underdog picks and bets for UFC 322. Before we go ahead and get into the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get it started with a recap of last weekend's bets. So if you haven't been tuning into this video every single week, we've been on fire recently with the bets, with the picks, my favorite underdogs every single week. Usually I give 1 to 3 depending on how I'm feeling on the cards. Last week we had 3. We hit 2 of the 3, starting with my least confident underdog who still cashed, Jamal Emmers plus 125. I said there was a possibility that he would be the bigger guy in there against Hyder Emil, would be able to tire out Hyder Emil, have the better wrestling, and that's what he did, man. So plus 125 was a great number to get. I hope you guys tailed that one. And then we had my favorite underdog my underdog lock of the week. I mean, this wasn't even a question. I had full faith in this guy. Chris Taco Padilla, plus 165, I got him. I mean, the line completely closed and went to evens before the fight because this wasn't no betting scandal. This was because of the fact that his opponent, Bonfim, missed weight by 5 or 6 pounds. And I said Taco Padilla would break him as the fight went on. He's calculated. He's sharp. He's a technician. He's a practitioner in there. He is just calculated with every single one of his moves. He doesn't overthrow. He doesn't overcommit. He's got a high guard, tight guard, very, very calm and calculated in there. He knows what he's going to do, and he looks for any means necessary to win the fight. And he won by TKO in the second round after breaking Bonfim as the fight went on and tiring Bonfim out. He had the perfect game plan. He let Bonfim come and wing big overhands on Taco's guard because, like I said, Padilla holds a very tight guard, closed guard. He doesn't have a really wide stance with his arms out. He's always tight. He's calculated. Pause. And Bonfim was winging big hooks on Padilla's guard and gassing himself out. And then in the second round, Padilla was able to just break him as the fight went on and land big shots up against the fence, big knees on Bonfim up against the fence, dropped him. He was just shelled, and you could just see that Bonfim was done. He had no more gas. Missing weight by 5 pounds didn't help, and Padilla was just calculated, let him overthrow, let him get tired, and won the fight by TKO in the second round. So plus 165 was literally a donation. It was a donation if you guys tailed at the beginning of the week. It closed right before the fight, but plus 165 for my favorite underdog lock of the week. So we've been doing great recently. Unfortunately, Randy Brown was the only other underdog, but the reason Randy Brown wasn't my favorite was because I thought that Gabriel Bonfim is the better of the two Bonfim brothers, and I had a feeling that maybe Bonfim could pull something off. I did trust in Randy Brown. Unfortunately, he did get knocked out in the second round, but we hit 2 of the 3 last weekend. Week before that, we hit the biggest underdog on that card, and this weekend we're going to do it again, boys. So before we go ahead and get into this, let me know in the comments who your favorite underdog for UFC 322 is, but we're going to get into my first underdog pick of this pay-per-view. My least confident, but still a confident underdog. One guy that I saw on this card, saw the number, and I was like, wow, he's really an underdog in this one, and that guy is Chepe Mariscal, plus 110. I think he's hovering around plus 110, plus 115 now, checking different sports books. I was shocked this guy was the underdog. I'm going to be honest. Now, Pat Sabatini is good. He is very good. He's got a great grappling background. Excuse me, great grappling game plan when he comes into his fights. He's always trying to grapple. Pat Sabatini's main path to victory is grappling, and he could do that here. But I think Chepe is an absolute dog. And every single pick, I tell you guys this, I pick dogs. I pick guys that I see that don't give up. They don't give up. They hustle. They're always looking for a win. They're always looking to keep pushing forward. They don't give up on themselves, and they don't give up on the situation they're in. And I think Chepe is the perfect example of that. This guy is constant pressure, constant pushing forward, constant gas, doesn't lay off the gas, and even if he's losing a fight, he will still push to try to get that win. He got that split decision over Morgan Sherrier, even though it was a very close fight, could have gone either way. Chepe didn't give up on himself. He kept pushing. He did get taken down in that fight, but he scrambled out. He's a great judoka, really nice judo throws. I could see those being a big factor in this fight as Pat Sabatini tries to take him down. I could see Chepe getting a trip, getting a judo throw on him, reversing positions. And Chepe's got the better boxing in this fight. Guaranteed he's got the better boxing. We've seen Pat Sabatini get chinned by Damon Jackson. Do I really have to say more? I know he got caught with that head kick, but Chepe is going to be pushing forward. He's going to be the better boxer, the better striker. I think his judo is going to be a big factor in this, reversing positions. And I think he's just a dog. He's more of a dog than Pat. And Pat is good. His wrestling is great. He showed that off against Joanderson Brito. But Brito did not get back to his feet. He did not scramble at all. He just got wet blanketed. And I don't think anybody anybody in the featherweight division is wet blanketing Chepe Mariscal. I think this guy will always find a way out. He will always look for a way out. He will constantly scramble until he can't anymore. So give me Chepe Mariscal as my first underdog pick of this card, plus 110. I've only got 2 on this card, but 2 guys that I'm very confident in. And we're just gonna move on to the next one, man. But Chepe Mariscal, plus 110. Let me know if you guys tail this one. We move on, though, to my most confident underdog of the week. I'm not gonna say underdog lock, but he's an underdog. He's an underdog that I've been looking at the entire week. I had to do a whole bunch of tape study on. I had to just constantly look, and I was like on the fence. But I think he's gonna win, man. And that's gonna be Roman Kopylov plus 150. People are already going to be mad at me for this. Kopylov, they're going to be like, oh, he's just a boring striker. He got whooped up by Paulo Costa in his last fight. Looked like shit. Had a close fight with Chris Curtis, barely knocked him out. All this stuff, all this talk. All right, but Roman Kopylov at plus 150 is a great number against a guy in Gregory Rodriguez, who we have seen been put down multiple times in his career. We've seen him get knocked out by Jared Cannonier, 40-year-old Jared Cannonier. He was knocked out by Jordan Williams on Dana White Contender Series. He was also knocked out by the Hulk, Bruno Ferreira. He's had so much adversity. He's lost a lot of fights by knockout in the UFC so far, and he is a dangerous guy, Rodriguez is. But Roman Kopylov, I love this fight for Kopylov. I've been watching so much tape, but I love this fight for Kopylov for multiple reasons. One of those being, I think he's got better cardio than Rodriguez. We've seen Rodriguez slow down as fights go on in every single fight. He slows down after the second round. We saw that against Jared Cannonier. Cannonier wasn't even throwing that much back at him. But Rodriguez tires himself out by winging big shots. The guy doesn't pop a jab. He doesn't. He throws big overhand rights nonstop. And sure, sometimes they connect, sometimes they chin his opponents, like his last one. Absolutely brutalized his last opponent. And that's why I think Rodriguez is a favorite here. And Kopylov had a little bit of a stinker against Paulo Costa. But if you look at that fight, Costa controlled the first 2 rounds, but that third round is when Kopylov came back. He came back, he started throwing more volume, he started connecting bigger, he landed a big right hook on Costa, almost finished him, almost knocked him out. Started pushing the pace, and what I love about Kopylov is the guy is dangerous with 1-2s. He's got the fastest 1-2s in middleweight. I genuinely think so. I think he's got the fastest 1-2 in middleweight. His jab, his right cross is beautiful, very fast. You know how most of Rodriguez's losses are by knockout? They're by the right and the straight left and the straight right hooks. Are the majority of Rodriguez's knockout losses. Jordan Williams, early in his career, I know this was a long time ago, but he got knocked out by the 1-2. Like, it was a crazy combination from Williams. That's what Kopylov does. He's the faster fighter. He's got the more dangerous striking, in my opinion. The kicks as well are going to be massive. Ripping to the body, ripping upstairs are going to be huge. Rodriguez, the difference between Costa and Rodriguez, I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that Costa and Rodriguez are similar fighters, so Rodriguez is going to do the same thing Costa does. Or Costa did. I don't think so. Because the difference between Rodriguez and Costa is Costa was moving a lot. He was moving a lot, nonstop moving, didn't let Kopylov get in his groove, get in his flow state. It took a long time for Kopylov to adjust, and it was too late. It was too late. The difference is Costa was moving a lot, throwing to the body, leg kicks, going upstairs, like just mixing up his targets beautifully, moving nonstop, just perfectly flowing. The difference is that Rodriguez doesn't do that. The guy's RoboCop. He walks forward. He marches forward. Big, and that benefits Kopylov. I think Rodriguez will be the bigger fighter. I think he's the more powerful fighter. But Kopylov's faster. He's cleaner. He's got better movement. And I think he is more dangerous. I think he's more dangerous when he pieces together a combination. I think those straight rights and straight lefts are going to be money. They're going to be money on Rodriguez. So give me Roman Kopylov at plus 150. I don't even have to say much more. If you guys believe in this pick, you do. If you don't, well, we'll see next week what happens when I recap this and I do my next week's picks, but my next week's underdog picks. But Roman Kopylov plus 150, my favorite underdog for UFC 322. If you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below who your favorite underdog for this pay-per-view is, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you.